Hey everyone, I have with me Kate Bradley Chernis, and a woman in podcasting is like the best thing ever. But a woman who has created AI software, I'm like, woo, I'm not worthy. I mean, like your story and like what you've created is killer. So I'm super excited to chat with you.
Oh, thanks, Lindsay. Me too. I don't have imposter syndrome for sure, but I do. I mean, I'm 48 now, and like when you're when you're old enough to look back at your life and recognize like what you've done,
Yeah,
it's a really good feeling. But even I don't give myself the credit I should. I don't know, fellow women
I
entrepreneurs. I
don't
don't
think
know
we
if
do it all.
Yeah, it's just a weird kind of thing, right? Like
I
someone
know.
usually has to tell me, like, "Hey, that's amazing what you just
Yeah,
did." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, yeah, I guess so."
I know. So at least when you go on podcasts, people are like, "Ooh, look what you've done," and you're like, "Oh yeah, maybe I am good."
Right,
It's a good reason to be on a
right.
podcast if I ever heard one.
That's right. It's very validating,
Yeah.
it sure is. Although, and I always listen to them too afterwards.
Oh, do you?
That's a
Nice.
radio trick. Yeah, so for folks who don't know, I also used to be a rock and roll DJ, and my last gig was broadcasting to 20 million listeners a day
That's
for
amazing.
XM satellite radio. And so in radio, it's called an air check. And you would put a cassette on, and the cassette would grab just the parts where you would crack the mic. So you could listen back to how you talked and how you
Yeah.
sound and learn. And so most people do it like once or twice in their careers. I did it like almost every
Oh
time
my
because I
goodness.
was obsessed with being the best.
Very good.
Yeah, sound
And clearly
familiar?
it's paid off because you've done very well for yourself.
Thanks.
And I do want to give you a couple of props. So Kate has owned a marketing agency which got Walmart a 130% ROI for 3 years. And she has got 98% sales conversions with like no cold calls, no cold emails, and has gotten Gary Vee a 12,000% increased engagement. So we're going to tap into how we can make that happen for our podcast because that is amazing.
Thank you.
So just so people can kind of like frame it. So what does your software do like as a quick little synopsis?
Sure. So lately is designed for podcasters so much. I mean, you guys can
Yeah.
tell from my radio career, you're in my heart, right? Don't tell anyone else this because it does work with text too. But so the way lately works is it's designed to help you repurpose any podcast into dozens and dozens of social media posts that it clips up with a unique writing model it makes for you specifically that contains the ideas and words it already knows will get you the highest engagement. And then it learns along the way as well. So the clipping up is amazing, but it's not just clipping it up. It's knowing what to clip up, right?
Yeah.
That's where the AI really shines. And so tapping into what words and ideas matter most to your audience, right? Nothing can beat that. That's the
No.
main. We're all trying to figure that out.
Yeah, you don't want to post for the sake of posting. You want to post to pique people's interest, attract them so that you can pull them in, nurture them, and convert them. Of course, it's the nature of the business. Now, one
Exactly.
of the things that I saw on your site was that obviously the 12,000% more engagement piqued my curiosity naturally. But you said unlock the power of long form content. Can you share what you mean by that?
Yeah, so any podcast, as you will know, Lindsay, you spend, I'm going to say about 4 hours on average. You got
Oh, hell
all the
yeah.
prep, you got to find your guests, you got to, you know, piece it together, doing any edits you want to do. Then maybe some people get it transcribed and they might post a blog of it online.
Mhm.
Or posting it in all the places, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you're doing it these days, LinkedIn, who knows what, and then promote it, right? After the fact. So you're trying to figure out, how often and what should I do? And so you might have to listen back to the whole thing, figure out what parts make sense. I mean, the
Mhm.
worst thing you can do is Lindsay Phillips interviews Kate Bradley Chernis from Lately. Who cares? Nobody knows who I am. Like that's
Mhm.
not a go-getter, right? So you really got to figure out like what about this would be the content that's going to make people engage. So for example, how to get a 12,000% increased engagement. There's something worthy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So all that time, let's just call it 4 hours. I feel like not feel, I know is often wasted because most people will write one or two social posts afterwards, and that's it, right?
Yep.
That's all that happens. I think of it like garlic, Lindsay. It takes a lot of time to chop those little suckers up, right? You gotta peel them, chop them all nice. And if any one of them doesn't get in the pan, I'm pissed. Like, you know,
It's
so make
awesome.
sure all drop the knife, right?
Get all the
And
goodies.
get all the goodies and really make the most of it. So it's the pillar method, which, by the way, Gary is well known for, although I did this with Walmart. That's why I got Walmart after 30% ROI year over year for 3 years. That was 2008. Pretty sure that was long before Gary spoke the words, the pillar method.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same idea. Like, how can we take what's in front of us, make the most out of it? Another metaphor a friend I heard used was like turkey dinner on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
You have the dinner, then there's the sandwiches, then there's, some soups. Like you're eating turkey all week. So you really want to do that with your podcast as well. And one thing here that's important is there's a bit of a mindset shift that I think people really get stuck in. So they might ask, well, why would I promote it more than once? Okay. And the reason is because people are dumb, self-included. We're busy, we're distracted, we're not paying attention. The chances of me scrolling by your Twitter post or Facebook post or Instagram post when you posted about your next podcast is very, very slim. It's kind of like in radio. We used to play the same song 300 times in 1 week, hoping you would hear it once. Right? Right. So you guys all know this sort of idea. So you need that quantity. So when Lately gives you from a podcast like this, you're saying it's, what is it, 20, 30 minutes? Like the full?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably going to get 90 social posts out of it.
Wow.
And then you would go in and be like, great, AI, good job. I love this one. Let me just maybe fix it up a little bit. Or, oh, AI, you're off the mark here. Let me teach you and tell you this is not good. Trash, right? So you just take a little moment. And the idea there is around the mindset is if you post, let's say, once a week on Twitter about the same podcast for the next 40 weeks, if I give you 40 social posts, then you're getting that residual exponential kind of long tail drip feed. And people don't know that you're posting the same thing because they forget. We're like goldfish, right? Yeah. Especially if you're looking for the phrases and words of what we're saying, like the quotables.
Yeah.
That's what you're pulling out as your highlights inside your posts. Then you're going to get a double effect, which is you not only need to get more people engaging and more people actually engaging, not just seeing, but commenting and liking, but you'll get the same people even engaging on this different content about the same post because they don't even realize it's the same one. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
You'll also get more people in general because, sorry to go on about this, but it's important. People are multifaceted, Lindsay. You can't say the same thing over and over again. We're all on to that. We don't want to be spammed. So you have to access us with different messages so you can try to tap in what we all care about, which is different things, right? So that's the other idea, is to like understand there's a new way to do marketing. It's not have a Coke and a smile anymore every single time. We heard that one already.
Yeah.
Right? We'll switch it up.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said, it's like what piques my curiosity or a certain phrase, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But then if I see it a different way, all of a sudden something clicks. I'm like, ooh, right. Like we all think differently and we all care about different things. So it's the same message. It's just rejigged and reframed in different ways. It's going to attract different people. So I love that. Right. And it to do that on your own would be like insanely time consuming.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a year to do that for Walmart the first time I did it. And I charged them $140,000, like Lately starts at $49. So I'm saying
I like that.
I'm winning, right? The tough thing though, too, is, magic, I hate to say, sorry, don't let your children hear this. Magic has not been invented yet. And everybody just wants to push a button and have everything done for
I
them.
know.
And it doesn't work like that. You have to train AI. It's a dumb
Yeah.
robot, right? It needs a human to like put some effort in, just like, a dog or perhaps a husband, right? You gotta do a little guiding.
I feel you there. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I find it anyways, even if something spits something out, I find it so much more easy, or I find it easier to like tweak and rejig versus writing something from scratch and like forcing my brain to think in different ways. It's just so much easier.
I'm the same way. My Lauren, my COO, like bless her, because I'm sure she gets so frustrated by this. But whenever we're writing an email to a customer or even the newsletter, she'll write the draft first, and then I'll go in and tear it all up. Like really, there's
Yeah.
hardly 10% left, and it's not because it's not. It's how do I say this? It's because that fear of the blank page is so real,
Yeah,
Nancy,
yeah.
for everyone, right? You want to have that starting point of just it's so much easier to move copy around,
Because you know what you
right?
don't like, so then you flip it over.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I
So
know.
anyway, so that's another thing too, is lately often is well not often, but always is able to surface word clouds that you can actually see the words that your customers are attracted to and interested in.
Ooh.
So, like for us, humans are a big one, humans and AI,
Yeah.
repurposing, like it shows us this, but it also shows hashtags, for example. So, here's a quick trick for everybody. Ready? Listen up. That the old way of using hashtags as an indexer
Hmm.
and putting them in a string at the end of your social post is out. It does a couple things that way. It delegitimizes your authority because it is old. It's like having a Hotmail account. Sorry, everyone. Um,
I love your analogies.
but also, when you put hashtags in line in line with your text, you get the blue and the visual. So there's some um, more ways to make
It's
some
like
noise.
breaking it. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Pattern
And then
interruption, kind of.
that's right, interruption. And then also when you instead think of hashtags not as an indexer, but more as a commentary to
Mm,
enhance what you've said, because you can say a lot in one or two words with a tag on the end,
so true.
right? And so my highest performing hashtag is hashtag peeing my pants because that's what I said when Gary Vaynerchuk wrote about Twitter. See,
That is
just
hilarious.
great way of humanizing. I mean,
Yeah.
we're this 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 idea of the human is something that lately never gets away from. It's ever present in all of our conversation, how we treat our customers, how the AI actually works, how we treat our targets, how we treat each other on staff. So it sounds kind of obvious, but all this automation that we're all doing is great, but you don't want to strip away the true magic. The true magic,
Yeah.
the irreplaceable is me and you and this little sparkle that
Yeah.
can't be copied.
No, you need to humanize it. And yeah, I even my team will write stuff and like if topics are like accounting or plumbing or lawyery stuff, you're like, oh my God, it's so boring. But you need to like inject that emotion into it of real life and feeling, and it doesn't necessarily come naturally to everybody.
It can be done. With the Walmart project, it was actually a partnership between Walmart and the National Disability Institute, United Way Worldwide, Bank of America, AT&T, and the IRS. And let me tell you, disability and taxes is what we were talking about, which is about as boring as it gets,
Uh-huh.
acronym city. And I remember standing on stage and telling them all, even the IRS spans,
Yeah.
trying to get them to understand why social
Yeah.
media was so important, right?
I know. Yeah, totally.
It's true.
And you don't always have to be uber professional on every post. Like it, you know what I mean? Like just be
Yeah.
yourself, be silly, use whatever words you would use in conversation. Yeah, you need to like humanize it. So I love that your AI has that ability to like, humanize and not bore us to death, and find those keywords or phrases that are key to your audience. Now, so when I'm just trying to like paint a picture here. So I upload my audio for my podcast. Like, how does it know?
How does it work?
How does it connect my podcast, and what keywords and phrases are going to create messaging that matters to my audience to attract them?
So what you do when you create a Lately account, you authorize access to your social channels. So it could be Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, or work with YouTube and also Instagram. And Lately is studying the analytics for everything you've ever published over the last year. And it's specifically looking for the posts that got you the highest engagement.
Yeah.
And then from those posts, it's reading, and it's pulling out the words and ideas and sentence structures that made up the post that got the highest engagement. So now it has a writing model that it knows, and it becomes predictive, right? So that's part one. And you have many opportunities to train this model. Like, it'll happen every move you make, it learns, and then there's more kind of more structured ways as well. Once you have the model, and this happens in about 1.8 seconds, by the way. So I
wish my brain worked that fast.
Me too. So then you upload your podcast, and it could be audio only or video. In either case, Lately will instantly transcribe the audio or the video and give you the transcription. So you have that. Nice. And you can edit the transcription if you like, and take a moment and clean up ums and ahs and likes and all the weird things that we all say. And then once you push the next button, in the case of video specifically, it's going to run down that text version and look for the quotables. That's what it's doing. And then it finds the video of when you said that, the 8 seconds, clips up the video, takes the quote, makes it a social post, puts a link back to the full version of where the video lives, right? And then you can even add hashtags. You can recommend hashtags like that. So that's part two. Part three, and with audio only, by the way, it can't, nowhere lets you post audio only. So it'll still clip up the social posts and still give you the link back to the full thing, but you have to attach like an image or something, right? It can't.
Yeah,
it can't
totally.
There's no, just not. It's forbidden.
Yeah.
So the last thing it does is as of yesterday, Lindsay, nobody knows this yet.
Ooh.
It also will write wholly new content based on what that model. So it'll read your transcript, it'll give you the quotables, and then it'll read it again and think, I think there's a better way to write what this person is trying to say, and it will write it.
That's pretty damn impressive.
It's very cool. And it does it in your voice, right? Because it has all these touch points to think about, right? It can see, so, me, hashtag peeing my pants. It knows things like I say, holy hot pickled jalapeno peppers, right? I'll say these weird things.
Yeah, I say holy Hannah, howdy. Yeah. And my daughter's like, who are you?
That's right. It'll learn your isms if you help it learn them. There you go.
That brings that human touch, right? It's starting to like get to know you and your little nuances. I love that.
Yeah. And that's so again, mindset shift, right? So if you temporarily can suspend your disbelief or your belief in magic, then and know that some work is required to actually get the magic, that's how you get the 98% sales conversion. So that's what we've gotten for 3 years straight. And the reason is we don't do anything except what I said. So I do one of these every day. I'm a podcast guest often. Sometimes I do a guest blog because Lately also works with tests. It doesn't matter. I ask for the file. I'll run it through my own AI. Lately's going to clip up all the best bits. Then we're able, through our own platform, to publish them on all of our brand channels, but also we can publish them on all of our employee channels. We created an employee advocacy publishing system.
Ooh.
So now our actual army of one is an army of many. See that?
Yeah.
And in the case of enterprise, so that's like our larger customers, we're watching to see who likes and comments and shares our content. And then we're able to ID them as a warm lead right? They know
Yeah,
us, right?
absolutely.
And move them into that demo. So the reason we have the high conversion is number one, we knew what they cared about because the AI figured it out. And number two, there's a lot of social proof on the way in,
Yeah.
right? With our self-service product for our small businesses, we have I think it's this, we just launched it like 3 months ago. There's a 37% conversion. So industry standard 25 or about 25%. So still really high.
Hmm.
And it's the idea of, same interesting thing is we're able to reach both kinds of customers this exact same way. Um, and just doing something so simple, which is like figuring out, well, I think it's simple, figuring out what they care about most.
Yeah. And yeah, I love it because I've never seen anything like that. So share with me, so you input your video, your audio, your text, whichever that happens. So what does it like spit out, so to speak?
Yeah. So first it makes the transcript of
Yeah.
exactly the podcast, right? And then if you go in and edit it, it'll read it again with your edits,
Hmm.
right? And no, you don't want to go crazy. You can't like interject like some
Yeah, yeah,
whole
totally. You
other,
can't add two more
yeah.
paragraphs.
But you can clean it up, right? So maybe it misspelled my name or mispronounced or something like that. And then it's going to pull out the quotes of the things that we've said. It'll give you, and the quotes will be in a form of a social media post
Hmm.
with a link back to the full podcast that you put that in.
Yep.
You tell it where to go. And then it'll clip up video. So like if I said how to get a 12,000% increased engagement and it knows that that's the hot thing, it'll pull that out and you'll have the opportunity to edit that video clip. So if I answered the question and you want to capture the answer as well, you just slide the little
You can
video thing
extend
along.
it. Yeah.
Yep. And there's captions that you can turn on so you can see the captions if you like. And then you can edit the social context as well. What it publishes online just looks like anything else. It looks like an 8-second video or 10-second, whatever,
Wow.
however long the clip is, with your social media post that it told you is good,
Yeah.
with your edits, if you have made any, with the hashtags that you told it to use, that it recommended to you anyways,
Ooh,
right?
that's nice.
So and you'll get, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah.
It is garbage in, garbage out. So if you're a terrible writer and you upload a terrible written
Ah,
blog to Lately, it's
yeah.
gonna just be like,
Yeah.
we actually have customers that start first in the analytics. They go and look at the word clouds before they produce a podcast, before they write a blog, before they write a newsletter,
Oh,
and look at what are the ideas that are trending with their customers because it's in black and white, literally. We can see it.
that is a game changer. I never even thought of it like that reverse way, right? Like pulling in all those keywords, the phrases, what the AI is trying to figure out. And then you have an idea of what to create next based on that.
That's right. And it teaches you if you're listening back to yourself, you all should be learning this anyways, but it teaches you as podcasters and as writers to think and produce in sound bites, right? The
Yes.
world lives for sound bites everywhere. TV, radio, Instagram, it doesn't matter. And so when you can talk in sound bites, then it's much easier for the AI to clip those with less work from you, right?
Absolutely.
And guess what? Those are the reshares because this is so simple, everybody. There's only two objectives on social media: click and share. That's it. That's all you can go for. So you have to back into it and think, what do I want people to do? Now, of course, the dream is for everybody to click. That's very hard when you are very small because nobody trusts you yet. You don't have the name recognition. So take that off the table. There's one exception, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. So if you're thinking the share, that's so easy. Share is about the ego. When you share content, you get credit for what someone else said.
Hmm.
Very simple. So make other people look smart
Yes.
or interesting, right? That's all you have to think about. I mentioned the exception to clicks, and that's how-to content. So if you create how-to content, it's pretty easy to get clicks because how-to is essentially a question.
Yeah. And a
And
solution.
the content provides a solution. So everyone wants to know that your curiosity is piqued.
Yeah. I know. I love the how-to stuff. And to me, it's like even just like those quotes, and I tell people this all the time, like engagement questions or the little mini tips. I call them snackable bites, like those little tidbits or quotes or inspiration, whatever. Like those things, and especially if you brand it for your podcast, then it just naturally it's like your podcast is in their face all the time. So it's like piques their curiosity so that when there is one with a link, they're more likely to click it and be like, oh, like, what is this podcast about? And like, they'll just want to engage more in it. But even if they are scrolling and they just take a tip or a takeaway, or like they'll see you, Kate, as like, hot damn, like she's impressive. She knows what she's doing. She's an expert at this. So I'm going to go check her out. Or vice versa. So it's like, there's just all these different layers, right? Of like why
A
to
lot of layers.
repurpose.
And you're building your, so the, I believe in the long tail, right? I know the power of the long tail, 98% sales conversion, right? So you put the effort in with that drip feed that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so the black box mystery of marketing is you can't totally draw straight lines. They're all
No.
kinds of crooked lines. That's how it is. But you can bank on that, and it'll be the gift that keeps on giving forever when you keep this long tail in mind, right? So you're not looking for the sale. I mean, this is about conversions, and it is about um, social selling. Really, that's all what all marketing should be. If it's not, you've got problems. Um, but you're looking to gain really that long term of social proof and build over time,
Yeah.
because they will come. You got to build the base.
Yeah. Absolutely. And be top of mind and be consistent with your branding. I mean, there's all these other elements too, but
Yeah.
at least with your like with lately, it can't not be on brand where the messaging is, because it's clearly something that you've said and you've spoke about and
Right.
had the conversation. So it's it's not going to be out in complete left field.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my friend David Allison was laughing because he was like, I used to pay someone $3,000 a month to write all my social, and I would be editing it the whole time
Yeah.
because they couldn't do my
They
voice.
weren't in
And
my head. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We all have that problem.
I know. I know. It's funny because I get my team, honestly, even my husband will write, like, because he's on my team, to write the social and whatever for the podcast. But I still edit the crap out of it. And he knows me, like, has been married to me for years, right?
So funny.
But like, but at least it's a starting point for me, and I can rejig it and move it around and add my own commentary on it, so to speak. But yeah, so to have something that already knows your voice and has analyzed it and is able to spit it out, it's better than having a husband on your team.
Yeah, really. I mean, you said it. And I'm doing it now. Like we've seen in our word clouds the words repurpose, conversion, right? And you've heard me say these words today. So it's that kind of cyclical learning that not only, you're evolving from what you're taking what your husband has created and evolving it. And the same thing happens for us. We just have the loop with AI, but it's the partnership that
Yeah.
matters.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, how can people find lately and sign up and connect with you as well? Because you are such a cool woman. You are so interesting.
Thanks.
Um, yeah,
I'm
I just
trying to
think
keep
you're
it
awesome.
interesting. Oh my God. I'm
You're a cool girl. I
It's so
like your
funny. I just
approach.
my hairdresser like just posted like 4 or 5 of the latest haircuts on Instagram. And one of them was the cool girl cut. And of course I was like, well, of course I want that one. I mean,
Yeah,
all the other ones pale in comparison. Cool me out here, but anyways, with her, I have gray hair started this year. So
I know.
I don't see any cool girls with gray
You're
hair yet,
good.
but
You look like
we'll
you have
see.
beautiful red hair from where I'm sitting.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, so hi everybody. We're very friendly at Lately. Remember humans first. So I'm at
Love it.
Lately AI Kate Lee on Twitter. Please say hi and let me know that you heard me with Lindsay. And then we're at www.lately.ai. It's self-service, so it starts at
Yeah.
$49 a month. You can just try it out.
Deep.
For podcasters, the next step up, which starts at 99, is probably going to be better because you get a lot more video editing capabilities, and we find that people
Mm.
really appreciate that. But 99 bucks to like save you from hiring.
Yeah. Seriously, if you hire a writer or a team, it's going to cost you triple easy.
Yeah, and that's the trick is I mean, we all just are trying to figure out how to clone ourselves, Lindsay, right? I
I would
mean,
love that.
I would like that as well.
I know. When I was awake at 4
That's
a.m.,
my
I
next.
thought, if only someone could be working for me right now.
Oh my God. I know. Like, I always think about who is it, Tim Ferriss and his 4-hour work week, which,
Yeah,
seems like a load
I
of,
think that's a myth.
I think it's a myth too.
I try. I have one of his books right behind me.
Yeah, so it's the inspiration, I guess, that
Yes.
matters.
All right. Well, you're
But
going to be saving me time with lately.ai. So I am forever grateful.
thank you so much, Lindsay. Thanks everybody too. It was great to
Guys.
spend some time with you today.
Yeah.